Welcome back to another video on the Rugby channel. Please make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the notification button, as well as please go ahead and follow us on our social media platforms to be up to date with the channel. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another podcast video. So today is going to be a long one, just like the last one, because you guys really enjoyed it. Actually, it did quite well. We reached over 200 viewers, so I thought, why not go ahead and do it again, because you guys obviously like the long videos as well, because the watch time was good on it. So therefore you guys are actually sticking it all the way through the video, which is pretty good. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about the Rugby World Cup and what I think expectations are. Obviously I've done uploads every single Wednesday where I've been looking at every team of the World Cup, and I've also done 5 Kit Fridays where I've been looking at every single nation since March all the way up to now. So I'm not going to be obviously going into way too much, but I'll be doing brief talking about every single team in the World Cup which we have to expect. So it should be a hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about it. So first up, obviously, Pool A we're going to talk about first, and that is Ireland, Scotland, Japan, Russia, and Samoa. So this is quite an interesting group, really, because we have about 4 teams out of the 5 teams in that group. So it could be anybody's game. So for example, we have like Samoa versus Scotland. Anybody could win that. Japan versus Samoa. Anyone can win that. Ireland v Scotland, and so on. So my expectations for this, I actually think Ireland will probably finish top. I mean, let's be realistic. Ireland, although they seem to have their ups and downs in the last couple of years, on paper they are the better team. So really speaking, they should really be finishing top in this group. So if we see anything other than that, it will be quite a surprise. And it would be quite interesting to see that happen. But realistically, I can't see that happening. Then we have Scotland. So I think it's either going to be Scotland or Japan. Well, it could either be any of them. I think it's going to be Scotland, Japan, or Samoa that will finish second. But it will be quite interesting to see. I think when Scotland play Japan, I think it'll be a very end-to-end game. It'll be very interesting to see because obviously they both play fast, open rugby. And yeah, okay, on paper Scotland's more professional. But when it comes down to it, Japan can cause some massive upsets, as we saw against South Africa in the last World Cup, and as we've seen recently as well in the Pacific Nations Cup and stuff like that. So it will be quite an interesting game. Japan versus Samoa will also be very interesting. I know I have a few Samoan viewers, so hello to Samoan viewers. But yeah, that'll be an interesting game as well. I mean, as the host nation, Japan are going to have a lot of pressure on them. And again, it could go either way. I mean, the pressure might get most of them. They might thrive on the pressure and beat everybody in their group. You don't really know, and that is the best part of rugby. But if I was to decide who's going to finish second in this group, I would like to say Japan, but I'm not going to because, again, Scotland's the more professional team. So I am going to say Scotland will finish second. Although it would be amazing, guys, wouldn't it, to see the host nation finish top or second. Although I have many Scottish and Irish fans, so they're not going to want to be seeing that happen. But if you were a neutral fan, guys, you would want to see that, surely. Come on. Samoa will be very tough opposition to play against. I don't know. I can't see them finishing top 2 myself. Again, but it is rugby. They are capable of finishing in that. And who knows? Who knows? Russia, unfortunately, I think are going to finish bottom of that pool. I think it's just going to be a really tough group. I think Russia will do well. They'll show off what they can do. They'll score a few tries and stuff. But I can't see them winning many games. If they are to win one game, it might be against Japan or Samoa. But other than that, I can't see them winning any. So next up, we're going to talk about Pool B. And that's got New Zealand, South Africa, Italy, Namibia, and Canada. So this is going to be quite an interesting group as well. Because obviously we have the 2 main nations, which are New Zealand and South Africa. And then we have Italy, a good tier 1/2 nation. And then we have Namibia and Canada. So I think the way this pool is going to form, I originally said earlier this year that I think South Africa could potentially top it because they could easily beat the All Blacks. Again, I am looking at that decision, and I think that there's still a chance of that happening. They drew against each other in the Rugby Championship. Australia beat the All Blacks. Okay, you might say the red card played a massive part in that, but they still lost. On paper, it's still a loss to the All Blacks. So I mean, it will be very interesting to see. If I'm going to go, I'm going to say, as a passionate rugby fan, I'd probably say New Zealand will top the group. I mean, most of us are expecting that. They are the current holders of the World Cup. They've won the 2011 one as well. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to expect that. You're going to actually expect them to win the World Cup and probably not lose any games. But as a sort of how would I say it? Like an underdog fan, I would love to see South Africa top that group, just because it would be so new and stuff like, and because we haven't seen that in a long time. The All Blacks have always been the top of their pools and have won the World Cup for 8 years running. Well, yeah, 8 years running now. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, so it would be just brilliant to see. So I'm not going to decide any more between New Zealand or South Africa. Next, I'm going to talk about Italy in that group. So Italy will be an interesting encounter against the teams. I think when they play the All Blacks, I can't see them winning against them. When it comes to South Africa, I think it will be an interesting game because obviously we see South African and Italian teams play against each other in the Pro 14 now. So they are sort of to that regular playing style. Whether or not they'll bring that into the World Cup, I don't know because club levels are completely different. But yeah, it will be interesting. I think Namibia and Canada games, I think Italy should easily win them. I think I can't talk. The Namibia game will be the most interesting one to watch. I think Namibia will probably score a few tries against Italy, but I can't see them upsetting them. And then Namibia versus Canada, I think that is going to be an interesting game as well, because obviously it's the two bottom teams of the pool. Realistically, they're not going to finish any higher than third or fourth, sorry. But yeah, that'll be an interesting encounter to see as well. It would be nice to see like a bigger hype for these games. I know you're gonna have the Namibian and Canadian supporters, and obviously some rugby neutral fans, but you're not gonna have the massive expectation of New Zealand versus South Africa. But it's a shame because those two teams are still a big part of the World Cup, and it would be nice to see a hell of a crowd drawn in to go and watch those games. But if I was to pick a winner between those two teams, I'm going to say Namibia, just basically because Canada haven't had the greatest of years, and yeah, it's been quite a poor performance. I don't know what's really happened to Canada. They just have seemed to not perform well in the past couple of years, and it's a shame because they used to be really good at one point. But there we are. That's what we're going to talk about. Pool B, that's basically done and dusted. So next up, we're going to talk about Pool C. So obviously then you guys know Pool C has got England, France, Argentina, USA and Tonga. Now besides Pool A, I'm going to say this is most likely the pool of death just because you have so many quality teams in one group. I mean, realistically you would pick France, Argentina, England and Tonga potentially to be in like getting out of the group. So for all of them to be in a group and two of those teams to go home, it's going to be a real shame to see that. But here we are. So I'm going to say going by the performance of the current warm-up games, I'm going to say England should top the group. Although we have been proven wrong in last time's World Cup 2015. England fans aren't going to want to hear this, but obviously didn't perform well, and they didn't get out of the group, unfortunately for them. But yeah, it will be interesting to see when they play against France, Argentina and Tonga. But I think England should really be topping that group. If they don't, then they've lost a lot of mentality and stuff. Because they are easily the better nation out of everybody in that group. No bias to anything, guys. I mean, I'm a Welsh supporter, so, you know, like Wales and England rivalry is pretty big in the UK. But yeah, as a Welsh supporter, I'm going to be saying England should easily be topping that group. Although France and Argentina and Tonga could easily do it. So yeah, we'll talk about France now. So France, it's weird because France's performances, as you guys know, they're always on and off, aren't they? Like you see them in the Six Nations, they have high expectation, they disappoint, they play in another Six Nations match, and they perform to their best. They play in World Cups, and my God, the France team literally just completely changes compared to what it usually is, and they just perform really well. They've reached a World Cup final in 2011. So yeah, I mean, France, you never really know what to expect, and that's one of the greatest things about the French team. But this time around, it's going to be quite interesting because, as I said, you got Tonga, you got Argentina, and you got England. It's anybody's game. I'm not excluding USA. I will get onto them, but I just can't see them finishing in the top two. That's why I haven't spoken about them yet. But yeah, it'd be so interesting to see for like England v France now. If that's like a group top of the group decider. It will be very interesting to see that game. I mean, realistically, on paper, England should win it. But you never know on the day. It's a World Cup. Things might get to you, pressure or whatever. You don't know. So Argentina, again, easily. Well, this whole group, anybody can finish second besides USA. It's going to be such a tough one to call. Argentina, I think, will be such a cool one to watch as well. I would like to see Argentina top the group, realistically, because obviously with their performances in the Rugby Championship and stuff, they can easily do it. They have the mentality, skills, and game plan and everything to do that, as we saw in 2015 against Ireland. I mean, that was a massive upset. That was just brilliant to watch, but there we are. But yeah, I think Argentina v France, I think Argentina should realistically be winning that game, just because they are faster and they have more pace. And you see that when they play in the Rugby Championship and stuff like that, as well as the Super Rugby. I think when it comes to Argentina versus England, it will be a very end-to-end game. I don't really want to call the result with that, because I haven't covered England yet, and I will be covering them very soon. So I want you to stay tuned for that, guys, because I will be covering it. And I don't want to talk too much about England's expectations, because I've got a video on it. But with Argentina, I think it'll be very interesting. And yeah, I don't really want to say too much, so I'm just going to leave it there. Tonga, I think, well, Tonga should really be targeting third place at least. Obviously, as we guys know, I know I've got a lot of Pacific Island fans, so I'm not trying to offend or anything. But as we know, England are obviously the tier 1, the biggest tier 1 nation in that group. Okay, so we're not going to take that away from them. That is true. France, Argentina, and Tonga, I would say they're kind of at the same sort of level. All respect to all the nations, like. I think, yeah, like I said, Tonga's, well, I think France, Argentina, and Tonga, their realistic targets are going to be, don't finish anything lower than third, okay? So I think Tonga's target, I mean, ambitiously, you're going to be targeting for second, but I think if they were to finish third, it wouldn't be a massively bad World Cup for them, just because they've got up and down performances, I find, and yeah, it's just like if they upset either France, Argentina, or England, I think that would be a big result for them. If they play Argentina, they lose dramatically, and they beat France, I think they'd take that. I mean, anybody would if you're supporting a team that's kind of in the margin between tier 1 and 2. It would be a big win for them. So like I said, third would be not a massive achievement, but wouldn't be a massive disappointment for Tonga. So for USA then, which will be our last one off Pool C to talk about, USA, I can't see them winning any games against these teams just because they're so big. I think if they're to target one game where they want to make a massive performance against, I'm going to say either Tonga or France, just because their sort of game style. Argentina play very fast rugby, as the experience from the Super Rugby. So I think the Tonga or France game will be the biggest target for them to try and perform well. I can't see them getting a win, but I can see maybe them getting 1 or 2 tries. But yeah, it's a real shame because rugby's growing really big over in the US, and maybe one day USA will be one of the best in tier 1 nations. So maybe, who knows? It would be nice to see another country coming in and becoming a tier 1 like Japan have in the past couple of years. Yeah, Japan have always been pretty good, but they haven't really started to develop since the past 8 years. So yeah, who knows? USA might be there one day. So next up, we're going to talk about Pool D, which is the final pool of the Rugby World Cup for us to talk about. Okay, so Pool D, then, we have Australia, Wales, Georgia, Fiji, and Uruguay. So this is a pretty big group as well, because obviously we have Australia, big tier 1 team, Wales, tier 1 team, Georgia, another kind of sort of tier 1/2 team, and we have Fiji, and then due respects to Uruguay, a tier 2 team. So yeah, it would be such another massively interesting group to watch. Again, because I'm a Wales supporter, I'm going to be saying I really want Wales to finish top. So that's why my estimation is going to be Wales finishing top, just because I'm a fan. I think the biggest games for Wales are going to be the Fiji and Australia games. I think Georgia will be a tough opposition as well, but I think Wales should really come away with the win for that. But yeah, Fiji, Australia, I'm going to say the biggest 2 games. For Australia, I think it'll be the same with them. I think on paper, Australia are the better team. But when it comes down to it, I think Australia and Wales will be a very close game. I know a lot of Australians while watching this video are going to disagree with that. But it's just because I'm a Wales fan. I want my team to do well, and that's why my estimation is that. So yeah, again, I think Wales will top the group. And then it's probably most likely going to be Australia second. Although if Wales slip up against Australia, it's obviously going to be Australia topping the group. Fiji, I think Fiji have a high chance of finishing second in this group, and that's not me being biased, because obviously I have a lot of Fijian supporters, and you guys have been all saying that Fiji are a massive underdog. Yes, they do have a chance, a very good chance, because if they cause an upset against Wales or Australia, they have, well, and obviously they win the other games, then they have a good chance. With Fiji, they have a lot of good players as well, as we all know. Some play in the top 14, some play in the English leagues and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's so hard to predict. Australia, Wales, Fiji. I would say those are the three teams that are going to be finishing top. Okay, Georgia can cause an upset, we know that, but I can't see them causing a massive upset. So I can't see them beating Wales or Australia. If they are to cause an upset, they're obviously going to beat, well, only the only team left, because they're going to obviously expected to beat Uruguay. So the only upset I could see them doing is Fiji. But I can't see that happening, mainly because Fiji are a much better team and should really be with the likes of being Wales and Australia. So this is what I mean. It's such a tough thing to call. Again, I think the way I'm going to say it, because I'm a fan of Wales, Wales top, Australia second, Fiji third. That's what I'm going to go with. And then obviously Georgia behind and then Uruguay bottom. Just because I want Wales to do well, and Australia are the bigger nation after Fiji. Obviously popularity and as well as success in the past. So that's why I'm saying Australia second. Although on paper, it's anybody's game. Anybody can win. And yeah, that's what the best thing about the World Cup. Uruguay, I think, unfortunately for them, I can't really see them winning any games this time round. I think if they are to try and win a game, I think they obviously have to target Georgia. The way I think Uruguay's games will go, they'll play Australia. I don't know if it's in order, but I think against Australia, they may get a few drop goals or penalties, maybe one try, that's about it. I think when they play Wales, it's the same sort of result as they do with Australia. I think when they play Georgia, they may get one or two tries. I think Georgia will obviously be the much better team. But if Uruguay are to target a game to make an upset, it will be against Georgia. And I think if when Uruguay play Fiji, it'll be sort of the same example as when they play Wales. Maybe they'll get a few more penalties or drop goals, and I think that'll be about it. So unfortunately, Uruguay will probably finish bottom of that group. But yeah, it is nice because Uruguay have slowly started to develop very well. They have made some good players. And obviously, a lot of Uruguay's players now play in the Major League Rugby over in America. So it's quite good. Maybe they might bring something completely different to the table. Because I think Uruguay played in the first qualifying match against was it Canada, I think it was. And they upset them straight away and they won both games. So again, they got there within the first qualifying match. So they have a chance. Maybe they could prove all of us wrong. They could probably beat Wales. Well, not beat them, but score some good tries against Wales, Australia, Georgia, Fiji. They could do it. So it would be nice to see. I know all of us guys are fans and stuff of Australia, Wales, Georgia, Fiji. Like, obviously my followers from those nations. But it's possible. So then going into quarterfinals, my expectations would probably be then England, Argentina out of their group, Ireland, Scotland out of their group, New Zealand, South Africa out of Pool B, and Australia and Wales versus out of Pool D. So if England are to play Ireland, I think probably England will win, as we've just seen in the warm-up game. If England are to play the All Blacks, I can't see them winning that game. If England plays South Africa, it will be very, very close. I don't want to call that one. If England plays Scotland, I think it'll be very interesting because obviously Scotland have drawn with England this year in the Six Nations. Scotland beat them the year before, so it would be very interesting to see that. If England play Australia, again, I don't really want to call that. I think it'll be the same sort of outcome with South Africa. Don't want to call it. And if Wales play England, that would be a very tough one. Obviously, Wales would win. No. I don't know. I mean, it all really depends on the day between England and Wales, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not going to call that one either. But yeah, I think I'm not going to really go down into the different scenarios of who will play who in the quarters because we'll be talking for ages. We've already gone nearly 20 minutes now, so I don't want to go rambling on and bore you guys. But yeah, I think into the final then, my two teams I would pick for the final. Let me think. I've got the list of teams here, guys, so just bear with me for a second. I'm probably, well, it's obvious. We all expect New Zealand to be there, don't we? I mean, we can easily say that as rugby fans, whatever country you're from, you're obviously going to be expecting New Zealand to be there. I mean, some of you guys may have something against New Zealand and say like, oh, I don't want them to be there and they're going to lose. Fair enough. But try and just forget about not wanting them to be there. We expect them to be there, don't we? So I'm going to say New Zealand versus... this is such a tough one to call. Okay, Argentina, I don't think will be... They won't be there. France, it's tough to call with France. I'm going to say they're not going to be there. England, just going by last World Cup, and they're... I don't know. They looked good in the warm-up games. I'm going to go with my gut and say no. They're not going to be there. Ireland, no, I don't think they're going to be there. I don't think Wales... Well, no, I don't even think Wales will be there. Ireland won't be there. Scotland won't be there. Wales won't be there. So I think it's either going to be Australia or South Africa. If I had to pick one... this is such a tough call, guys. I tell you what, in the comment section, guys, you are going to decide who are New Zealand going to be playing. If you have to pick between South Africa or Australia, who will they play? If you've listened to this podcast this far. I mean, going by my stats of the last one, most of you guys have listened to this far. So please leave a comment and let me know who you think, Australia or South Africa, or a different nation. Please don't be like, I want you to be realistic, okay? Don't say Uruguay or like USA or something will get to the World Cup final, because we both know they won't. They might, but it's like 1,000,000 to 1. So just don't say that. Either Australia or South Africa or one of the teams that I read out. Let me know what you think against New Zealand in the Rugby World Cup final. And without further ado, that is going to be the end of today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed, because I love doing these, talking for this amount of time. It's so much more fun. But yeah, let me know in the comment section who you think will be in the World Cup final against New Zealand. Like the video to show your support, obviously, as well, because I've been rambling on for so long. And just show your leave a like, show your support for me talking for this amount of time without having a single cough or losing my voice or anything. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. We upload rugby videos every single week, and hopefully I'm going to continue doing these podcasts if this video gets enough views compared to the last one. And yeah, click the notification button to be notified when we upload, because obviously we upload random dates, as you know, and you'll be notified then. It'll come up on your phone or whatever saying Rugby has uploaded a new video. And obviously follow me on social media if you want to stay up to date with the Rugby 20 news. I have been putting stuff up there. Not lately though, because obviously we haven't had anything at the moment. But when I get news, I will be putting it up there, or I will be making a video. I also let people know that I do videos and stuff on Twitter and Instagram. I put some fun things up, not so much on like updates and stuff, but just sort of fun things that I've been doing and stuff like that, and stories and everything like that, really. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, click the notification button. Also follow me on social media. I've been Andrew. I will see you in another upload. Peace out, guys.